side images of that.
So we're going to add to the
I used to go in
interview.
there. You
We're
could get a
talking
meal
to
for
Tori
95
Roberts,
cents or $1,
Yeah.
and you tip the
Savannah,
guy.
and myself,
right next
Jennifer
to
Baker.
what is that right there?
Huh?
There's
And there was a theater
Elks?
there too, right down on the left of it.
Yeah.
Can I have a
across
question
from the
for
bank.
you
Sure.
real quick? We are trying to put together the owners of this as the Fred family had it. Helen Fred is listed as one of the last names on county record.
Really?
And who is Helen Fred to you?
Helen Fred is hang on a minute, is Mark Fred's wife.
Mark Fred is your uncle.
Is my uncle.
And where did he live in this home?
When Bud died, Mark moved from living in one of the apartments at the University Apartments, which is next to the was next to the Presbyterian Church, and he moved into Uncle Bud's
Were
side.
those apartments, were those once the National Normal University? Is that
It was a
part of that?
it was a university, and then Solomon bought that too.
and turned it into apartments?
He started out with pots and pans and bought up everything. bought the mansion, bought the university, started the furniture store, all from going door to door with pots and pans.
Okay, so Helen Fred is
Mark
Mark Fred's wife.
Wife.
Did they have children?
Yes, Suzanne Fred.
Malott?
Huh?
Is her last name Malott now? Do you know?
I don't know. She's dead. She died of breast cancer because she wouldn't go to a doctor. They were very eccentric. All three of them very eccentric.
Okay, we have made a connection then I think that we were looking for.
Yeah, Suzanne.
Now,
Suzanne
who is
Fred.
Abraham Fred?
That might. Let me see some.
That is listed somewhere.
I think it might have been Uncle Bud, but he liked to go by Bud.
Oh yeah, so
See, A.E. Fred, Abraham something Fred.
It was Abraham.
Bud was Abraham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember your mother.
So we're missing Nate, and we're missing my father, Ed Fred.
Now Nathan is here as Nathan Fred, and this is Solomon Fred's
Son.
deed. So
Yeah.
okay, so Nathan Fred is Solomon Fred's son, you're saying?
Nathan Fred is Solomon's son, one of 4 sons.
Okay, so Solomon Fred's sons are
Are
Abraham, Bud,
Mark,
Fred.
Abraham Bud, my father Ed Fred, and Nathan Fred.
Okay, and then Aaron Brofman is
Aaron Brofman married Rachel, who was Rachel Fred, one of the 2 Fred daughters, and she became Rachel Brofman.
okay. And the other Fred daughter?
She was the one that went to
It
California.
starts with an L, goes to California. I'm not sure. Her
You
name
could
starts with
probably
an
find
L.
Okay.
That's all I know there.
We never heard much about it.
Yeah.
Do you recall any other children of your uncles or your aunt? Are there any other children other than Suzanne?
Well, Uncle Bud was a bachelor.
Okay.
Mark and Helen just had Suzanne.
Uh-huh. Nathan.
Corwin had a son and a daughter, both very eccentric like he was. A lot of eccentricity.
Corwin is...
Corwin Fred had the mushroom place.
Uh-huh, and who is
Fred
he
the
in
mushroom.
relation to you?
Who was his?
My uncle. All 4 of them was.
Okay.
So
and
my dad
Nick-
was Ed Fred, and then the 3 brothers were my uncles.
Okay, and so who's Nathan
Corwin,
Fred?
Bud, and Mark. Huh?
And then who's Nathan Fred?
My uncle.
Okay, so...
One of the 4 boys. One of the
Okay.
4 Fred boys. You might want to write it down.
Yeah, because I'm getting 5
Get a-
boys
get a
in
pen.
my head.
Yeah.
No, there's 4.
Okay.
So there's A.E. Bud Fred, and well, you got 2 of them here.
And Mark. And
Yeah.
then Ed.
Abraham, Mark,
What
Corwin,
is-
Nate,
what
Ed,
is
that's
that?
5.
God, I love this picture here. That's where I
They're
live.
counting 5.
Huh?
They're counting 5. Count them out.
Abraham, Mark,
Ed.
Nate, Corwin, Ed.
Hey, wait a minute. Maybe I can't add up.
Solomon.
Okay, that's the
Fred.
father, and then
he had-
and then we've got Nathan.
Is Nathan the oldest?
I don't know.
Okay, so we got Nathan.
We got Mark, Nathan, Ed, Fred, my father,
And Abraham Bud.
Bud, Fred.
And Corwin.
And then we got a Corwin.
Well, I'll be darned. I can't count.
Okay, so
That
then
is
Okay, that's a
5.
lot of
this
kids.
is your...
I'll be darned.
And
That's
your
right.
dad- and your
Okay.
mom's
Oh,
name
wait a
is-
minute. Abraham, Bud, Corwin. Yes, there were 5 boys. I'll be darned.
And your mom's name is?
Nona Fred. Actually, it's Winona, named after an Indian
On
name,
her
but she didn't
tombstone,
like that.
it's Nona.
No, don't even write Winona. Put
N-O-N-A.
Nona. She doesn't like that. N-O-N-A.
Okay. And then
Nate?
you said he was a bachelor.
He was a bachelor.
Okay. And then Nathan is?
Let's go to Mark so I can remember. Helen was married to Mark.
Okay.
Okay, Mark, Helen.
Do they have children? Was Suzanne?
Suzanne only. Yep.
Okay. All right. And then Corwin, you were saying
Okay,
is the L?
Corwin.
Oh, no, that's a daughter. That's a daughter.
I got to think of her name that he was married to, but he had a boy and a girl. The boy is still alive.
Oh.
Great to me.
But they didn't live in this house.
No.
Okay.
No.
And Rachel Fred is married to Aaron Brofman.
Brofman, so that made her Rachel Brofman. I'm trying to think. Yeah, there were 4 boys, not 5. I'm trying to think.
And you are an only.
I forget.
son?
Myself and my sister. She died of
She's deceased.
breast cancer.
Okay, so
So
her
Jim.
name is
Jane.
Jim and Jane. That's cute.
Yep, Jim and Jane.
Okay.
God, she died in the
Yeah,
early
Mom had
50s.
said Jimmy and Jamie.
All because she wouldn't check her breast.
And that's your
And it went all
sister.
through her body, huh?
That's your sister.
That's my sister. Yeah.
Okay, and then what about Suzanne?
Suzanne also died of breast cancer
Same
because
thing.
she wouldn't go to a
She didn't have
doctor.
any children, did she?
No,
Okay.
no, she didn't have any children.
And Alfred
Nor
is
have
in
I
California.
that I know of.
Okay.
Went to
And did
California.
Rachel have children?
They had one by the name of Fred.
Fred Brofman.
Fred Brofman. He was a professor. He was very intelligent. Unfortunately, he was too far out. He committed suicide by blowing his brains out.
We just heard about that from someone else.
Yeah.
Someone else.
I
at the
think
house
he got.
was talking about-
I think he got a girl pregnant, and he got all shook up. Why you would kill yourself for that?
Well,
But back
back
then,
then, that
well, you don't know what's going on in the mind of a person who commits suicide. Yeah, he blew his brains out. I think he got a girl pregnant. I'm not sure if that's the true case or not.
Okay.
But
and
but
then
with his mind, it did that. Okay.
married. Nathan Fred's listed
let me
as
think.
his-
I can't remember the wife's name.
Nathan and Mary?
I don't think they had any children. I don't think they had any children.
Boys, Mark, Nathan, Ed, Abraham, Bud, and Corwin Fred. And the daughters.
Oh,
is
wait a minute, I'm
Alfred
going
and
nuts
Rachel.
again. That's right, there are 5. Mark, Nathan,
Suzanne's.
Ed and
Denise,
Uncle
Jim
Bud,
and
Corwin, Nathan and Mark. That's right, there were 5 boys and 2 girls. I stand corrected. Okay, that is correct. I'm trying to think.
What's the ages? Who's the oldest? Can you go from the oldest
Oh,
to the
God, I
youngest?
can't do that. No.
Abraham was the one. So Bud was the one that received the property, I believe, directly after. He's listed as one of the ones.
He might have been. And
You might be able to find out because
Dad
of the businesses.
died at 53. Nathan died a heart attack of 48 years old. Bud died at 64 of a heart attack. Mark made it to 90, and I'm going to go after Mark because I'm going to be 75 now. So I'll follow Mark's footsteps. Otherwise, I'd already be dead 20 years ago. Yeah. 48 years old, dropped dead of a heart attack. He was a lawyer and never practiced, and then he went in with Mark on the department store side. I think he might have dropped over right in the department store.
But Nathan's not listed here, or is he? Is he listed?
You got me. There's Mark.
There's a
and Bud.
Nathan here. Nathan died about 2 years ago with Bud and Mark continuing the store. So let's see if it says 1902.
You can read upside down.
Shoe company?
He was 48 years old. Yeah, well, there was a shoe thing in the department store, right on the front end of right on the Mechanicsburg side.
Did you work there at all? Is it still there while you lived here?
The shoe thing was there when I was a kid, but it was gone when I worked there in the furniture store.
Okay.
So yeah, everybody except Mark died of heart attacks pretty young age. So I'm going to follow Mark.
And then the women died of breast cancer.
Yeah. And Solomon died of colon cancer.
Okay.
You're going to die of something, right? If you live old enough, you're just going to die of old age.
I choose that one.
Yeah, there
me
you
too.
go. You die. You live old enough, you'll die of pneumonia. Actually.
Here's the pictures of the wood slats.
Oh,
once they took all
my,
the stucco off.
man! That I remember seeing them taking that apart. It was a bulldozer thing, and he had to be very gently scrape that stucco off to expose this. Boy, you really had to go from a skeleton up, didn't you? I think it was pretty rotten in there.
Yeah, they removed the boards even.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
Wow!
It was in the paper.
Oh wow! Oh yes, they really had to do it. Oh my goodness gracious! That is something. Yeah, Peter's still alive in Knoxville.
Peter.
Peter Fred, who is Corwin's son, and Sheila Fred is Corwin's daughter.
There we go.
Both very eccentric. I don't know if Sheila's still alive or not. Is she?
She is, and
Is she
she's
still-
in California.
Yeah. And Peter's alive in Knoxville.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah, Knoxville, Tennessee. But he's been schizophrenic all his life.
And he's not in good health now.
I don't know. I haven't been in contact with him for years.
Well, the last time you were in contact was, you got something last year.
Yeah, it's hard to interact with Peter. I don't know if he's still alive or not. Sheila was pretty far out too. See, what was Corwin's wife's name? I can't quite remember.
I was thinking it was Mary, but I'm probably way off.
No.
Do you know what Nathan's wife's name was? And if he
Oh,
had
yeah.
kids?
No, I don't.
You can Google
He
it
had a heart
online
attack.
and find out.
Age 48. 48 heart attack for Nathan. 64 Uncle Bud died of a heart attack. 53 my dad died, Ed, of a heart attack. And here I'm going to be 75. Luckily I don't smoke or drink. I think I take after my mom. And of course Mark died at 90 of God knows what. He said he kept alive because he drank whiskey and chased women. So he did that till he was 90. So he,
What happened to
that's
Helen
kept him alive.
Fred?
I think.
Who knows? They were kind of far out, and so was Suzanne. They were all a little far out. So Mark and Corwin had kind of unusual spouses and offspring.
And you don't recall Corwin's wife's name?
So Nathan's wife
I'm
was Louise.
trying to think.
Louise?
She
Does
was
that
a
sound right?
redhead.
Did you find it?
She was a redhead.
Does Louise sound right for Nathan? Yeah?
Yes,
Okay.
Louise.
We found it.
Louise is Nathan's
Yeah.
Did they have any
wife,
children?
and I don't know if they had children or not.
This is Find a Grave, so they're not listed.
That's it,
I'm literally looking
Louise.
at his headstone, so that's not
Now
what
look
that
up.
is.
Now look up.
Corwin. Fred.
Corwin's wife. Then, the minute you say it, I'll know it.
They make this more pretty.
The
I
minute
was
you
gonna
say
say
it,
we
I'll
probably
know
have
it.
their marriage records too. So if you need them,
I just can't
Well, that's not
place
on
it.
there. I'm gonna have to keep looking. Give me a moment.
7 kids. Solomon Fred had 7 kids then.
5 boys, 2 girls,
That's right.
and except for Mark, they all died at 64 and below.
So there are 20
last-
people with the
Except for the girls.
Buried in London Cemetery.
For mental health recovery.
Oh, the
Mark Fred's wife.
the
Mother of Susan.
the second female, she had dementia. My mom had dementia too, actually.
Second female. The Alfred in California.
Yeah, and it's her first name starts with L. It's not Louise.
That's Nathan Fred's wife.
was Corwin's wife's name Evelyn?
She never married.
Corwin's wife.
The second daughter, Solomon's second daughter that I can't name, who moved to California, never married. I don't think. Never
Was-
married. But the other daughter, Rachel, married Aaron Brofman and became Rachel Brofman and lived right upstairs there.
So Corwin's wife, we have what?
There's
It-
an Evelyn. Is that right?
I'll tell you when you tell me the
Nancy?
names.
Nancy.
Nancy. It might be Nancy.
There's a was her maiden name Brant?
No, but did you get a Nancy?
She's saying yes.
I think it's Nancy. I'm not as sure about that as I am Louise, but I think
Yeah, I think.
Have you heard that? Put down Nancy. She was far out and had two
Because
far out
Louise
kids.
was listed on the same.
Actually,
headstone
Corwin
as
and
me.
Nancy both were kind of far out, so they had kind of far out kids, and so and Mark and Helen were kind of far out, and they had far out kids. The other
Suzanne
two
and-
had normal kids. Me, I'm normal, and it depends on who's interacting with me, but yeah,
You're a little eccentric.
yeah, might be.
He just adds color. Color to life.
Yeah.
He's got a sense.
Yeah, it was Nancy. It was Nancy Fred, married to Corwin.
So-
They called him Skeeter.
Yeah, that's what threw me off.
Skeeter Fred.
That's all I
That's
know
his
what it's
nickname,
called.
Skeeter. Corwin's nickname was Skeeter, and Uncle Bud was Bud instead of Abraham. He didn't like A.E. That's why I'm James E. Fred, James Edwin Fred, because my father's name was Edwin and he went by Ed. So my middle name's Edwin, my father's first name.
Wow.
Ed Fred.
Good thing he didn't name you Fred.
Yep. Good thing I was, or Fred.
So you're gonna write a little book before, so we can get all this together.
No. See, things keep coming to me. Yeah, it was definitely Nancy. There's no doubt in my mind now. So we've got all the wives. We got all that good stuff. You even know when they all died. All of heart attacks. I don't know what.
Oh.
Corwin,
I don't know what
Francis.
And Solomon's wife
Corwin died
is.
of. No idea in the world.
Amelia Saul?
No idea in the world. Saul sounds familiar.
Someone made a
I can't
tree on
verify.
it.
I can't verify that.
S-A-U-L or.
I cannot
Yeah.
verify that.
Now that's saying that whoever this is right, but they seem to think that Corwin's wife was
Corwin's wife?
Francis.
Not a chance. It was
so
Nancy.
Someone is, yeah. So I
It
don't
was
know how much you
absolutely
want to
Nancy.
deal with
I'm-
So
Amelia
we-
Saul.
I'm 100% sure now that her name is Nancy, who was married to Corwin Fred, whose nickname is Skeeter, who had the mushroom.
We can look
Fred's
up the
mushrooms.
marriage record.
Yeah, it was Nancy Fred. There's no doubt in my mind.
Okay, so Fred's mushroom is Skeeter
Fred's
Fred.
mushrooms.
And he's
It
got,
was from South Lebanon, Ohio.
we have an article about Fred's mushrooms about.
He started growing mushrooms in the basement here.
Okay, I was going to ask you
Here,
about that.
in the basement.
Do you remember ever seeing that?
No. That was I was too young, or not even in existence then. And then he
Never
moved,
existed.
and then he expanded and started a plant in South Lebanon,
So
Ohio.
he did start here? The
He
mushroom?
started-
He started in the
here.
basement growing mushrooms. Yep, of this house right here.
But he lived over on Normal.
I don't know where he lived, and then he
The
bought.
university
Then he bought an
apartments.
old farmhouse
Oh,
and made a
cool.
lake and all that stuff. It's out there. If you're going down Main Street and you go past all the fast food restaurants, and then you take a left to go out in the country,
Corgonia or Wilmington?
going towards Orgonia.
Uh-huh.
If you go that way, and the first thing you know where Bowman's old house was, Dr. Bowman, the veterinarian, way up on the hill. At any rate,
Yes.
if you go past that, you'll see another house up on the hill. That was Corwin's. He bought it, fixed it up. Very successful, a lot of money. And made a lake in the back with an island. He had an airport. He had an airplane. He took me up in the airplane. When I was 9 and my dad died, he gave us a ride and tried to help out a little bit.
So your dad
Bowman's
died
house
when you
is
were
the one
9?
can see from
Yeah.
48, the
But
big
your
white
mom and you
one
lived
on a
in
hill.
that apartment.
We stayed there
And
and
Jane.
Retirement.
yeah, stayed there.
Yep.
And then until I moved out, until Jane moved out,
Mm-hmm.
and then Mom moved into another apartment elsewhere.
And then.
Yeah, we
do you
got all those
recall,
names right.
Did your apartment become rented out?
I have no idea what happened when I left.
Okay.
From that point forward, I know nothing. Know nothing at all. Yeah, that's all right. Those names are all correct. Huh? Yeah, I don't think Nate had any kids.
Your mother, she talked about all of them.
You know anything else to add, Shirley?
No, I just knew she mentioned going to the picnics to Corwin's. You know,
Yeah.
in the country.
I mean, he had white sand put on the beach.
And your
He had a
mother
beach
thought she
made
was a
back
tourist.
there and everything.
She
It's
did.
still there, whoever
Your
owns
mom
it.
said she
Airport, everything.
reminded her
Huh?
that- Your your mom said that she liked to go there because the sand reminded her of the ocean.
Right, right, and right beyond that was the airport and the air hangar, and where he flew his Beechcraft.
There's one now.
She knows what he's talking about.
Okay.
It was a private airport on his own property.
Off of Oregonia?
I imagine it's back where there's now neighborhoods.
So, like I say, when you see the second house up on the hill, that was Corwin's. The first one is Bowman's. That was way back up.
With the barn?
You know where I'm talking about.
So Doc
And-
Bowman's house is if you go up 48
It's right
bypass
there.
north, it's the big one on top of the
Way
hill. It has
on-
the
up
big
on the left.
barn.
Yeah.
Now, if
That's
you go
not Bowman's
farther
house.
and you see another house about halfway
So is that
up,
the one past
that's Corwin's
the Goodwill
house.
and stuff to the right?
Behind it is a lake with a beach.
Is it close to 48?
No.
There's houses
There's
back
one
in the
way
woods
up
that you
there.
can't see from the road.
But you can see this house from the road. It's half as high up on the hill as Bowman's house.
But from Oregonia Road.
On Oregonia Road,
Okay.
going towards Oregonia.
Yeah, it's like a little bit past.
And if you
Allison's
drive up in,
Gardens
and
now.
there was a little house on the side, which was the caretaker's house. He lived there. I mean, Skeet made a lot of money, and then he had the lake with the beach, and he had the airplane there, and the place where he landed right there on his own private property. It's still there if you drive up there. Whoever owns it, Fred's Mushrooms.
Now is
He
that,
messed up by when he put in automatic packers, and they packed it too tight, and he got botulism, and then he really lost a lot of money. The FDA got him, which they should have, and he was older then, maybe not as sharp.
Now you've been in his farmhouse on Oregonia.
Yes, I have.
Do you recall what the house looked like inside?
Yes, I do.
Was there a staircase in that house?
Yes, there was.
A big one?
You know, there was. It came right off of the living room. It wasn't a spiral staircase.
But was it maybe
Slightly
Up?
like that. Why?
We have
How do you know that?
We have a very bad picture, and we are told it is in a house that was owned by the Freds.
Yep.
Let me see, where's our guys? Where we ought to go. See, it's so hard to see. There's a better picture in the Historical Society. But see this banister here? And it just kind of arches. This is gone, and it sounds like it was gone when you lived here.
That's hard to picture that. But yes, I think you're right. It curved a little bit as you went up and then kind of straightened out. It didn't drastically curve, just a little bit, then went up.
See, that looks like that.
Well, then
So
that
is this
has
a picture of the inside of that house?
potentially- That's a picture of inside of here.
Huh?
That's from here.
Oh, okay, no. That's no. I know nothing about the spiral staircase here.
Well,
Nothing
we are
about it at
told
all.
that we've been told that this staircase was taken and put in a house that was owned by a Fred.
Oh, I bet that if that's true, then I can tell you exactly. Then it just spiraled a little bit at the bottom, and then kind of went straight up. It wasn't a drastic spiral. In other words, if you hold this for a second, and if it started out here, I don't know how the wall would conform with that. It kind of went like this a little bit and then straight up. So if that's from here, then that's it.
And so, I don't know, maybe we could reach out to whoever owns that now.
Yeah. And again, like I say, as you're going on there and you go past Bowman's, the very next house, I don't know how far down on the left, half as high up, that's his house. And you'll know it's it if you drive up and you see in the backyard a lake, unless they've taken it out, that's it. And to the left of the lake was the air grounds where he flew his Beechcraft Bonanza.
He is a historian and lecturer. He works for...
That's where I went to watch movies all the time. I get 5 candy bars and sit in the front middle seat.
Oh,
He-
Harmon Hall.
He
I
asked,
only had to walk 2 blocks. It's just 2
Right.
blocks right there.
Yeah.
It was 25 cents, and when they raised it to 50 cents, I thought that was outrageous for a ticket.
he asked me to give you this card.
Okay.
And him He's
Is it-
out of town, but he would like to follow up with you.
Sure.
And I would say probably I would want to be involved because
You've got my phone number, right?
Yep.
All right.
Our goal is to get information together that's kept with the house for historical value.
And
of
maybe
the
I'll
home.
remember some more stuff, you know.
Okay. And I have your phone number. Can you write your address next to your
Sure,
name?
sure.
Because I'd like to send you some of the Fred stuff we find, including your
In blood or
grandfather's.
ink?
Oh, sorry, it's still pen. Thank you.
We take things seriously here.
And, our office closes at 4, so.
Boy, that's a nice job. You got any openings?
Right.
You start at 8? Or
engineering
when you
degree?